Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation's show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 99, really? Streamed live on April 24th, 2021. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week are Florian.
Hello everyone.
And Alfred.
Hello.
Welcome both of you, and thank you for joining me today. 99 episodes. You know, it's almost like at the beginning of each of those, I would want to say something like, if you want to see if your device is supported by Ubuntu Touch, go to devices.ubuntu-touch.io. If your device is not on the list, it's going to need a custom image made for it. And you can go to the porting documentation at docs.ubports.com/porting to learn more. Excellent place to go if you want to make Ubuntu Touch work on your device. And there is work ongoing to make the porting documentation even better. So you better check it out, because I would be hurt if you didn't.
True.
Oh yeah, speaking of those 99 episodes, next Q&A is episode 100. Math do work like that sometimes. And we're preparing something a little special. I've been talking with people all week. I will not tell you any more than that. They know who they are. And I just want to thank everyone for making it possible. It's all gone on to our wonderful, talented editor now. And I can't wait to see what the final product is going to be. I hope that you are all excited too, so join us next time for Q&A 100. You might want to see it live, because it's going to be the first time anyone's seen the final product that isn't me. Or maybe Florian and Alfred. I might show them.
I also don't know anything about it, so don't ask me. I will not leak it, because I cannot.
That's a lie.
Okay, I know a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I also cannot believe that we are already at 100, but it seems that our records are right.
To be fair, we're not yet.
Yeah.
We're at 99. Anything could happen in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't jinx it, though. So yeah, I hope that you're all looking forward to our next episode, because I sure am. So I'm excited. I hope to see you there. In more project news this fortnight, we have released a new version of the UBports installer. UBports installer version 0.8.8 is finally here, and it fixes the big issue on Windows and Mac OS of immediately receiving internet connection lost as soon as you started the installer. Oopsies.
That was a weird one, yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal, but it is fixed now. UBports installer 0.8.8 is out, and it will be downloaded automatically if you download from devices.ubuntu-touch.io.
Great.
Yeah, it was exciting. We got to learn a lot about creating releases of the installer, because we had new people doing it this time, so getting to learn that for the first time is good, and cross-training the team is just exactly what we want to be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because there were so many complaints about that bug in the last 2 weeks already. It was nearly every hour there was one post on Telegram somewhere that the installer just throws this message to me. What's wrong? And then people started again to think, what could it be?
But it's fixed now.
Oh, yeah.
But what would you ever do? What would you use the UBports installer for, if not for the people porting Ubuntu Touch? So, Alfred, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's been going on in porting Ubuntu Touch to new devices this week?
So the Pixel 3a received massive changes. It's received massive battery savings on Wi-Fi, especially.
Massive.
Massive.
Almost as massive as the Pixel 3a itself.
So what it did before was it was wasting a lot of battery just sitting there idling with the screen off, and that is fixed now. So you can actually keep the phone, in my testing at least, it shows 2.5 days of idle time with Wi-Fi on. So that is quite something. You can make use of your phone now more properly. It's now received more responsive call wake-up changes. So when you get a call, it immediately wakes up and keeps the device awake for a little longer, so that the call can actually be processed, and then it notifies you about the call. It's working super well now. I've also ported over the CPU quiet and RQ balance kernel changes that are ported over from the Sony kernel onto the Pixel 3a. So that allows the device to decide how many CPU cores to keep online during screen off and screen on, just to save battery and improve performance. And lastly, for the Pixel 3a, the offline charging is now semi-working. It's not fully fixed now. That might come in the future. But for now, when you plug in the phone, trying to charge it, it will now reboot into normal mode again, so that you're not stuck in this non-working state anymore. That's about it for the Pixel 3a now.
Great. It seems that there was a lot of tinkering for getting all that done. I also need more time. CPU quiet. Keep it quiet. So, OnePlus 5. OnePlus 5. I showed already last time recovery skinning on the OnePlus 5, and that it looks now so nice and stylish with the UBports with the Yumi and so on, with the UBports logo. And accidentally I fixed call audio last week. Sorry. The interesting part here was that it was working already, but in some kind of, I don't know, mistaken additional commit, I destroyed it, and then I blamed everybody else for it for 2 months, but now I found out it was just myself. So this is working. Also, hands-free is working. You can switch on hands-free mode. The only thing that's not working now for that one to be a daily is that the Wi-Fi indicator, oh, thank you, showing this again, yeah, that the Wi-Fi indicator doesn't come up every time. You would have to reboot once or twice until it shows Wi-Fi. But then if you keep it running for weeks or months, no problem for your phone, it's actually usable. So one more small hack onto the recovery, and we can put that into installer. Look out for OnePlus 5 and 5T. It's actually 2 devices with 1 port. That we're going to roll out. Thank you, Vince, also for hooking up, for doing all the steps on the cheeseburger while I'm having the dumpling in front of me. Nice code words again. And the Halium upgrade for the legacy devices. So we are carrying this topic, I think, for almost 2 years, when we said we want to upgrade Fairphone 2, Nexus 5 and OnePlus 1 to a higher Halium base, 7.1. The OnePlus 1 is already more or less finished, almost done-ish. So I got some positive feedback from people, some weird things still. And then I decided to put the Fairphone 2 also in the Halium Devil channel. So there is one special channel for those 3 devices that you can only see on them, called Halium-Devil. And you can switch to that channel back and forth with the channel switching. And for the Fairphone 2, I would ask people for more feedback. That's something that got lost, I think, in the last week. So if anybody has Fairphone 2 to spare for testing, please fire it up, switch to the Halium Devil channel and see what you can get working. Again, the new camera module acts up. We don't have pictures from the new camera module. We know this. You don't need to report that. Everything else I would like to know. So there is one remark for that. If you're switching channels between Halium Devil and the stable or the traditional channels, until the next OTA is released, because the stable channel didn't get any new image, you cannot switch back to stable directly. That's a limitation a little bit. So best would be that you use Devil or RC, and then from then jump into Halium Devil, and then you can jump back to Devil or RC. After next OTA 17 is released, you can switch also to stable back to stable again. Yep.
I
That's
suppose,
it.
yeah, that's a good time to remark on OTA 17 itself, because original plan was a May 8th, no, not May 8th, first week in May, May 5th release. However, there is an issue on the Nexus 4 at the moment, which is going to block release. So, I would say, if you've got one of those Nexus 4s and you have any idea what is going on with the GPU driver, I need you to help me fix this thing, because I have no idea what's going on. But we're continuing to figure that one out and see what exactly is going on. It's an error that should never be thrown, like never, which is interesting. But we'll get it fixed, and OTA 17 will be ready for release soon enough, I'm sure. But that's OTA 17. Of course, it's got all the other fixes that we've got lined up, including being able to switch between Helium Devil on the OnePlus One, Nexus 5, and Fairphone 2, and back to stable. Will be available after that. Yes. So that's back on Zennial. That's the news with Zennial. That's the current stuff. Why don't we talk about the future? And the future is Focal. Ooh, I like that. We're going to keep that one. We have, since the last time we have met here, packaged a few more things on Focal. So Rodney and Rachanan have been working hard on lots of different packages. Marius too. Like the Lomiri Download Manager, which allows you to upload and download files. Lomiri Push, which allows you to get push notifications from apps like Element, Fluffy Chat, and Teleports. And Cyborium, the SD card manager, all packaged in Ubuntu 20.04 and available in our repositories. There is packaging, testing, and work on others in progress, including the Lomiri System Compositor. What does Lomiri System Compositor do? It's neat. It's a little hard to explain what it does, though. QtMir, which is what allows Lomiri to exist at all as a QML shell. Lomiri itself is being packaged, renamed, and all of that. And Lomiri App Launch, which allows you to tap an app in Lomiri and have it launch, whether it is a deb or a click. And it gets launched, and it can be frozen, and all the things that we actually need in order to have a good mobile experience. So, not only that, but Lomiri has now officially started on a Hybris device on Ubuntu 20.04. Here it is. It's the Xperia X. Sorry, Alfred, this is over your face now.
Hype. Well, we can move here to make it fair. Behold, the mighty phone is here. So, again, for those people that just got overwhelmed, you're saying that this thing is running Ubuntu 20.04.
Yes, this is an Xperia X running Ubuntu 20.04, not in my hands, on screen. And this is manually launched Lomiri. So it's not running as you would normally have it, where it's auto logged in and your session comes up. But you can see it does pass through apps correctly, like the Lomiri AUI toolkit running here. The apps are also run manually, though. So we don't have a systemd session running yet. That is coming. But we do have it running. It can pass through apps as long as they're started, on the command line, just like the shell. And yes, this is exciting. This is new. This is a milestone.
Oh, yes.
Praise Rachanan.
So, excellent work. I mean,
And everybody involved.
can't take any credit for this. This is Rachanan, this is Rodney, this is Marius, and all the people from other projects helping us get this packaged, Sunweaver, Pure Tryout, all people helping us just throughout the years get this stuff modernized so that it could run like this. So, yeah. That's exciting. I I have to say, when that came up in the Telegram group this week, I was just, I was elated. Yeah, so coming next is launching the session from Systemd and launching apps from Systemd, as well as finishing the actual packaging of the stated packages. But while we're talking about Focal being the future, we also need to talk a little bit about Debian. I'm just kidding, it's Debian. Both HFD service, which does things like LEDs and force feedback, has landed in Debian, and the Lomiri UI toolkit, which draws all of your pretty pictures, and is a nice convergent toolkit for creating applications, is being worked on and built and rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt. You get the pattern. But geez, there's a lot of stuff happening for the future today. This week, Mir Oil has also been seeing some love. Now, what is Mir Oil? Mir Oil is a project that abstracts away some of the things that went away in Mir 2.0 so that Lomiri can use them. So it brings back some Mir server APIs that were made private that we relied on. And it also, wording this stuff is difficult, I must say. There are also some things that were exposed by Mir clients that aren't exposed by Wayland under Mir that we rely on. Mir Oil, which, if you didn't notice, is an anagram of Lomiri, is a project to bring those features back and allow QtMir, and therefore Lomiri, to run on Mir 2.0. And this week, as we're live, we have had a contributor start to work on it. So Erland has started working on Mir Oil. I see that there have been a lot of pull requests going into the Mir Oil, QtMir, and Mir Oil itself repositories. So that's exciting to see. You know, this is stuff that's going to be far, relatively speaking, in the future. So seeing this start now, it's going to build, come to fruition, and it's going to be awesome when it does. So I'm really excited about this. Thank you, Erland, for joining us on the project. And thank you, Alan, for getting it started, helping out. So why don't we take some questions now? And we take these questions from our forum over at forums.ubports.com, as well as from live chat, though we prefer to get the ones from the forum first because, you know, they asked first. If we don't get to your question, it might be because we didn't see it, but it might also be because it won't flow very well in the show. Feel free to ask your question on the forum, and we can answer there in text if it doesn't work so well in a video show.
All right, first question. Dom UBPKM. I never know how to pronounce your name. I'm really lost with it. I don't currently own a Xiaomi Redmi Note 7, but I would like to be sure in the event, as what I read doesn't really enlighten me. Does the UBports installer unlock the bootloader currently? Yes or no? If yes, which versions?
No.
No.
The UBports installer gives you instructions how to unlock the bootloader yourself, but it will not do it for you because it requires Xiaomi's proprietary unlock tool.
Yeah. And is it that you have to register a code for that as well?
Yeah, but that's pretty standard. You have to do that for both Motorola and Sony devices as well.
Okay, there is a second part. Totally unrelated. Is the transition to Ubuntu 20.04 LTS going to be as complicated for apps and web apps as it was when we went from 15.04 to 16.04? Or will apps and web apps remain compatible as they are?
So, it depends. What a wonderful answer. Usable in all situations. Web apps, which are just shortcuts to web app create or web app container, should be fine. A lot of QML applications should be fine, assuming we do all of the work to make compatibility layers. But for things like compiled applications or things which use, I don't want to say, yeah, the main problem is going to be in applications which are compiled because libraries are going to change between 1604 and 2004. Depending on what you're using on the system, your app might not work in 2004. This is something that, we've talked about for a while, wanting to improve that situation. But the reality is that unless we do something like snaps, where you're packaging all of your dependencies up into the package, or something like Android, where we control the entire system just unilaterally, we're not going to solve the problem. So it is very possible that apps will need to be rebuilt for 2004 support if they aren't QML only or web apps.
Okay, Loops has a question. Has anyone tried the UHome home screen app by Pavel? If so or not, what do you make of it and it as an idea as a viable home screen replacement?
Dalton,
You
that's all
tried it out?
yours.
Oh, you're going to give it to me? All right.
I haven't.
Me neither.
So, yeah, these apps, there's a couple of apps like this now, which aim to be like your Android home screen in Ubuntu Touch, right? Yeah, if it's something that people like and it continues to develop, that's all right. It can be launched as an app. It can be used as an app, and it works all right. One's unconfined. One might break Lomiri if it's updated, but, we won't talk about that, I guess. But yeah, UHome doesn't do anything too crazy. It just launches apps and shows aggregated data from apps. So,
focusing on the word replacement here, we won't replace anything. First of all, there's nothing really to replace because our desktop is empty at the moment.
yeah.
And there is no other app that we could replace. So the only thing that I can bring back here from my memory is that we said at one point it might be possible to say, okay, that app you could automatically start on the boot and just have it kind of a default opened app when you unlock your screen and then you're there. You don't have to start it. That could be something that helps those people that want to use them. But other than that, we always said we don't want to integrate one specific app so deeply into Lomiri that it's embedded in some way. Also because of our convergence things, we don't want to really break anything on desktop. And so I think maybe auto-starting that one could be something you could configure in some way. You could probably configure it now already, but only manually.
I don't know about that. Lomiri can't do that right now. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I find these interesting. I don't use them, generally. I know a lot of people do, and they get very upset at me if I say that I don't use them. But
yeah, let's not
fine.
start. Let's not revive the home screen discussion too much. But yeah, I think we should be open for users that want to have such an aggregator in some way.
Right.
And I reckon that the idea of Canonical with the scopes was basically trying to get a hybrid model of having something like that on a classical Android phone, blah blah, but mixed with apps. But it still didn't work out that well for us. But yeah, if somebody wants to create an auto start feature plus selector UI,
Yeah. If that
Try it
stuff
out.
has tests, it's all right. The problem is putting in without tests. That would be a problem. But
Yeah.
if we're able to test it and make sure that it works,
don't break our tests, please.
don't,
And
don't
create
break
new
the
ones,
tests.
actually.
I worked so hard on making those work.
Well, yeah, disabling tests is a no-go, by the way. Don't disable tests.
Yeah. All right. So, Ubuntu Touch wouldn't be possible without people creating apps and pushing the boundaries like that. but it also wouldn't be possible without the people who sponsor it. So that's the wrong banner. It also wouldn't be possible without the people who sponsor it, including our platinum level sponsors Smooze, Vala, Pine64, and Private Internet Access. So thank you to all of you for helping us make Ubuntu Touch. We couldn't do it at the speed that we do without you. I'd also like to thank our community sponsors, including Travis Mackmer, Amalith, Rascarganeris, Instance Fail, Dan Trevino, Daniel Francek, Robin Hood, Laszlo Tomas, Ian Locke, Max Fielder, A. Thiel, Casey Lambie, George Toma, Renat Mirkalev, Will Atwood, and Scott Marley. All those people, all those wonderful people, started at the community sponsor level over on Patreon at patreon.com/UBports. You can also find the remainder of our sponsors over at ubports.com/sponsors, or if you want to get involved in that way by donating to us directly, you can find all the information you need over at ubports.com/donate. And we really do need your help with this. So, anything that you can, we would appreciate your help. I can't say thank you enough to the people who have supported us. And I'm glad that you continue to do so. It is really what's the word I'm looking for? Revitalizing? That's not the word, but to see the people who are contributing month after month. So, thank you. If you want to join everyone else and contribute, you can go to ubports.com/donate. Everyone else. Now I'm making it sound like peer pressure. We really appreciate if you do. Or if you don't, you just contribute in your own way. That is just fine too. People who are doing translations, people who are making code contributions to Ubuntu Touch, helping other people install. It's all coming together to make Ubuntu Touch possible. So thank you.
Thank you.
Back to the questions then. Prog Amateur had a couple of questions this week. Florian, when I received my Nexus 5, I tested all the features in Android, including Wi-Fi, data, GPS, microphone, and then I installed Ubuntu Touch. I searched on the forum why it took so long to get my first GPS fix. Several minutes compared to about 3 seconds on Android. And then I saw that assisted GPS wasn't used in Ubuntu Touch, only GPS. So my question is there any reason why assisted GPS isn't used? Is it too complicated to implement? Is it incompatible? Is there a licensing issue?
Yeah. So there is a reason why it's not used, of course. Otherwise, it would be just a bug and we could fix it. If you think about this technology, then there are several options you can do. If you're waiting for the GPS to get a fix, you can ask around with other means, like you could scan for access point names that are in the database, known with coordinates, to triangulate yourself a little bit. You can use cell tower information. That's actually the thing that's probably the next reliable after having GPS already synchronized. So actually that's Android uses all three of them in some way. And that allows them to really be fast with location. Also, of course, that location is kind of being worked on in a background job probably. So some of the things, maybe not the main GPS antenna. I don't know if this is always on when you have an Android phone, but other things like cell tower information and Wi-Fi beacons can be tracked in the background. So that also contributes. So there's one thing on our side: location services are totally switched off when there is no app that uses location. That also means the app must be in the foreground and the phone must be unlocked. Otherwise, location would go to sleep again. And the second thing is we don't have the possibilities to use assisted GPS providers currently. The thing with the license actually is that I don't know what services Google is using except their own.
Google's.
But sorry, but I don't think we can get easy access to those things. Why they should give those data for free to other, like not competitors, but other projects that are not giving any data from their users to them. There is one service from Mozilla Location Service. I don't know if it's still a thing, probably because the website is still on. So one of the ideas could be to integrate Mozilla Location Service that would use probably access point data mostly.
Yep, access
And-
points and cell towers.
On some of then the question is, on some of the devices we could probably get access to cell tower information properly, maybe even on all, I don't know. And even some of the devices have already built in a bridge from the modem to the location backend in Android that can really expose already cell towers. So some of our devices, like I have on my Nexus 6P, for example, my first fix after cold boot is normally 20 seconds, and that's really acceptable. The next one after the cold boot and everything is initialized, it's probably 10 seconds, I would say. The same on the OnePlus 5, it's very fast with the location. And then other devices, especially the older ones, they just take 3 minutes, 5 minutes of looking for all the satellites. It's a restriction at the moment. If anybody likes to help with location and assisted GPS, of course, be our guest. The backend actually is capable of using multiple sources. So we're not limited to just using Android GPS data. We could implement another provider for another location service, and they can even be ordered in precision or something like that. So it would first start with the quickest one that responds. Could be an AGPS method, and then when GPS comes on, it would even refine your location down to the more precise location. So that was built by Canonical. That's nice, but we need a location provider that actually gives data to us.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Yeah, there is an experimental Mozilla location service provider. It's called Echidna. No, it's called Ichnia.
Yeah, something like that.
That is provided on the Pine phone, so that should be in the Xennial Edge Wayland branch. The problem, as all things are, there is a patent troll going around and suing all of the AGPS providers that do GPS with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth cells or network information, which means that Mozilla can only give API keys to non-commercial projects, which we qualify as sometimes and we don't qualify as on other times.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect, right? So the only option is to pay for the patent troll services, which I guess makes them not a patent troll. They're actually making the services that they patented, but they could also be cool, you know? The worst thing is I think they bought the patents from Nokia in the beginning, so we would be just fine if Nokia hadn't folded like 4 times.
Drew.
I think everything would be okay if Nokia hadn't folded 4 times, to be fair. So. Yeah.
Yep. Shall we take the next one?
He had another question. I did those out of order.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure. Next question. Another question. Do you intend to integrate a canvas fingerprint blocker? Oh, that's a nice thing. In Morph browser. Here's a link from the source code for a Qt web browser called Qt browser that could implement this function. What do you think? What's a canvas fingerprint blocker?
So, canvas fingerprinting is a JavaScript application using the HTML5 canvas to learn a bunch of stuff about your browser so that they can uniquely identify you across the web. The way to block this is to not allow JavaScript to read those properties of the canvas, which will break some websites completely. The way that Qt browser fixes this is it passes a new flag to Qt Web Engine. The problem is it's all or nothing. So either all of your web views inside a single app are blocking or they're not. So you couldn't say have one tab that's like, this is the one website that requires this information to work correctly, and these are all the ones that don't. So we could block the fingerprinting, but it would also break working websites. And we could give you a switch that says, please break my websites, but also kind of make me safer from tracking, or don't. Which, that's not ideal. But it could be done. I would certainly accept pull requests to that effect at github.com/ubports/morph-browser. If you look at how Qt Browser did it, they just pass a new flag to Qt Web Engine when they start. And Morph Browser already does things like that to disable GPU or whatever it needs to do for the platform it's running on. So it's totally possible. I don't think it would be a good experience at all, but it could be done. Maybe someday Qt Web Engine will provide a property that allows us to set that per web view or per request, so that we could actually have a list of known trackers that were blocked from doing that kind of thing. Hint, hint. That would require development in upstream Qt Web Engine.
Upstream.
Upstream. To be fair,
Sorry.
sometimes working with upstream projects is upstream.
Exactly. Oh, So, shall I read the next one also? Cliff.
Just a moment. There's some in chat.
Oh, we have a chat question.
Couldn't you distribute the code to make that GPS thing separately from the main project? Well, maybe. It's possible that we could do something like you download an app which gets you access to the Mozilla location service, and then it's you doing it and not us doing it, even though we're distributing it. But we're distributing it for free, so it's open source and it's technically non-commercial. Yeah, it's gray.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. Basically, our option is to pay for whatever Nokia's Here GPS became, or get sued. And that's it. Regarding Qt Web Engine, maybe we can hope to port Firefox. It's very handy in Android, and there's good extensions. Yeah, maybe we could hope to do that. But the team that you see in front of you and the team that I've been talking about has their hands kind of full with stuff. So, maybe you could make a new browser or a theme for the browser and a package that works on Ubuntu Touch, but no one's been able to do that yet. It'd be interesting, though.
Good. Firefox questions, we answer them always like this. There
makes
is
sense.
considerable effort to
It's
be
like,
put
there's this
inside.
open source browser right here. Why don't you use
Yeah.
that? Well, there's a reason.
Yeah. And it starts on A with ARM and ends on SAD with, I don't know,
Sad.
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 Exactly, yeah.
All right, let's go
Oh
on.
my god. So, Cliff, it's apparent from recent QA sessions that the UT team is under-resourced, as it often asks for assistance in developing the OS, and evidently you have not been overwhelmed by offers to do so. That's true. Crowdfunding campaigns seem to be both popular and successful, so have you considered something similar in order to hire somebody on a limited contract to undertake some aspect of the core development that is not specific to a particular device or particular application? Yeah. Well,
So, crowdfunding efforts. They have been used by other open source projects successfully. Everyone, of course, at this point thinks of Elementary. What they mainly do is fund things like a certain feature, like their App Center, which allows you to pay for applications whatever you want, and you get a flat pack. What they are usually funding in that case is a way for them to all get together and work on that together, or an event or something like that, instead of like a contractor to fund the feature. Usually I think of crowdfunding campaigns as a marketing campaign first and a funding campaign separately. What you're trying to do is get the word out about your project so much that people are excited about, and the money is kind of a nice secondary thing, Of course, normally you want the thing to get funded, but I think that a lot of misuse of crowdfunding has been from people funding their entire project off of it.
Yeah. I mean, also from my point, as the one that is a little bit now in charge of recruiting and hiring in the foundation, there is also one thing that we don't want to be depending on the changes of how to say what would be the outcome of a crowdfunding project. So first of all, you have to put a certain amount there. You would have to know upfront exactly what you think it will cost. Yeah? So it's hard for our contributors, our freelancers, to estimate properly what time and what resources they will need, what money to accomplish a certain feature. Yeah? So let's say we get, I don't know, 50K for enabling, I don't know, crazy, let's say, device encryption, full device encryption, 50K euros. Yeah?
That seems a little low.
I know, yeah, but it's just a fantasy number. Yeah, don't quote me on this. Oh my god. So that's the problem first, that somebody has to start looking into this deeper, and we don't want to be rude in terms of to our freelancers to say, okay, you got 50K now. Are you signing this contract? You have to deliver it. At the end of that, if you don't deliver it, you get nothing. Yeah? Because ultimately, what we would do with a half-baked software. Yeah? So we need to implement a feature as long as it takes to implement it to be successful with it. I cannot just say, okay, at the end of the period, the money is over. You just get your money, you deliver something to us. Great, we have no half-baked software. We need another 150K to finish it. We would end up in a situation that we have stuck features because maybe people say, okay, I'm a freelancer. I know these guys will hire me for 50K for the next 10 months. Again, fantasy number. And then after 10 months, I have to do for a living something else. I cannot continue working with UBports. So the most important thing for us would be to make long-term relationship with freelancers and with contributors. Yeah? Our contractors should not be contracted from month to month or from week to week for micro payment features or things that come off a crowdfunding, like 12K for a Redshift filter or something like that. Yeah? And also the management of that is, again, fantasy numbers. But the management of those small projects is also very complicated for us. I would like to see a constant inflow of donations from institutional sponsors, from companies, and also from private people. And we can put all together on a big sum and say, that's our budget for a year. And from that budget, from a year, we can make plans. Anything lower than a year to plan it out is really hard. Because you know that things are mostly underestimated in software development, and you need room to breathe for the people. I think that's the point. So crowdfunding is great, as Dalton said, you can do this for hardware campaigns where you already know the device will cost X, and then you just want to know, okay, we are going to build that off our experience. And also a lot of crowdfunders have underestimated their stuff probably. Mm-hmm. But for us, crowdfunding can be something nice for, as you said, for an additional thing, but it should not be the primary income method for us. The other thing is that I still believe we could get a lot of people that are working just because of fun or of willing to contribute for free in their spare time, just doing little things. Of course, more full-time developers is great, but we also can use little hands still, and we are still looking for people here as well. Limited contracts. I would like to see more unlimited contracts. We cannot do so many of them at the moment, but the best relationship is the one where people can work over years and years together to build something great. Jumping on and off the train is complicated for the contributor, for the freelancer, and also for us it's complicated. We have again to explain a lot of things and so on and so on. So but if you want to start a crowdfunder for us and get money together for something, then just say, okay, I don't know, we can think about a project that you think makes sense. If you find people up front that are willing to, I don't know, commit to a certain amount of money, let's do a crowdfunding. But I don't think that freelancers will easily commit to a predefined amount of money until they really, really know exactly what's going on in the pieces.
Mm-hmm. I've tried doing a crowdfunder before. I don't think I've ever told anyone this. It didn't work. But seriously, it's a very in-depth, difficult thing to do. You need someone full-time on a crowdfunder of any usable amount. So, like, we also need to consider how much it would cost to do the crowdfunder, in addition to,
Right. Right.
what it would cost to do the thing the crowdfunder is for. Okay, we should stop now. It has its place. We don't think that place is mostly in this project. Yeah?
Yeah.
That fair?
Agree.
That fair. All right. Let's lighten it up a bit and talk hardware.
Mark has a question on the PinePhone. There are 4 update channels, the 3 usual plus the kernel upgrade channel. Which channel has the latest development packages? I'm especially interested in the kernel and the phono upgrades that were talked about in Q&A 98 on 10th of April, which will provide a more stable cellular modem connection. And where can we see package, kernel, or phono changes on as there is little activity on GitLab?
All right. So real quick. Stable, RC, Devil. We all know those. We're all acquainted with those. Stable gets released every once in a while. RC gets released every week. Devil gets released every day or more. Kernel Upgrade is a channel on the PinePhone exclusively, which gets updates every day, and it's taking a different device package, but everything else is the same as Devil. So all of the packages in the Debian-style root file system are the same between Kernel Upgrade and Devil. The difference is everything in the boot partition, the recovery, the bootloader, those areas, the device-specific stuff. You can see the changes that are made. These device images are built from gitlab.com/ubports/community-ports/pinephone. Yeah, I got that right first try. The main branch builds the one that is used for Devil, which then gets promoted to RC and then gets promoted to Stable. The WIP branch is used for kernel upgrade. So any changes between master and WIP are the changes that are getting shipped onto the PinePhone kernel upgrade channel. That includes a different kernel, one that's based on 5.10 from Andre. Maggie. There are a few changes to Aphono configurations, but all of the packages are the same. So those are all the changes in that kernel upgrade branch. It's just that device-specific image. And if we want to get into that more, we have to talk about how Ubuntu Touch is upgraded, how it's installed. That's probably not good for this format of show. So, yeah, that's the quick gist. If you want to learn more, you should join us in the Ubuntu Touch on Pine 64 group on Telegram. All right. Do either of you see any more questions that we want to take before we run out of here?
Didn't see anything that really triggered my attention. Oh, Python needs to be refreshed. Oh, that's more like a statement.
Yeah, that's not a question.
Eat the Python while it's fresh. No, I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you everyone for joining us for this episode of the Ubuntu Touch Q&A. The fun doesn't stop here. Don't you dare. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, PixelFed, Mastodon, LinkedIn, or Instagram. You can also find us in our news channels on Telegram and Matrix. All of those are linked down in the video description. You can chat with us on Matrix or Telegram, or for longer form content, if you want to talk about especially anything that you heard in this episode, you can find us on forums.ubports.com. or @ or #UBports, whatever is correct on the platform. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us for this episode of the Q&A. I better see you here for the next one, because it's going to be an extra special episode.
Oh, yeah.
Time's a ticking. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, jalaka.
thank you everyone again so much for watching. If you did like this episode, maybe you want to like it. If you like what we're doing, maybe you want to subscribe.
And
I
pay
don't know, I
on
can't do this all
Patreon
that
for
well.
Patreon.
Maybe it'd be cool. Anyway, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.